Hi, Gavin. I listened to your video, thought it was pretty good, and wanted to do a reply to you in response to it. The situation and the problem with North Korea and the hostilities towards the United States that have existed for a great many years. I'm hoping these talks that President Trump and the U.S. government is currently doing with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is actually over there now doing some talks again with North Korean officials. I'm hoping that those talks will actually improve the situation and the relationship between our two countries. Um, but coming from somebody who is 28 years military veteran and actually did a tour there in North Korea or in Korea back in the early 90s and has actually seen the situation and talked with Korean friends of mine about the situation when I was there, uh, and seeing how Kim Jong Un has acted and how his father acted prior to him for all these years. I don't really see the hostility changing as much as I see at least the relationship improving a little bit and maybe doors opening up in some areas and some arenas for businesses to come in, maybe the economy changing a little bit better for the North Korean people, um, maybe some opportunities opening up for a little more freedom of speech with them, or maybe a little more religious freedom, possibly the opportunity for missionaries to actually come in and actually do some work there in North Korea, where in the past traditionally uh, they're normally locked up if they're caught doing any kind of proselytizing of Christianity. Um, the problem with North Korea is a situation where the regime that is in power there and has been in power since his grandfather took over, which whole situation was in started within the Korean War back in 1950 when North Korea actually invaded South Korea in an attempt to unify the entire peninsula under the military banner of the Kim regime. Um, and it went to his father after that, and then now to him. And the problem is that North Korea has traditionally been a country where they're going to tell you one thing and then turn around and do the complete opposite. They do. He and his father both, and his grandfather, kind of did things. If it benefited them, then they were willing to open doors and do something. Right now, I think it's a situation where Kim Jong Un is actually concerned that he has a president in office now that is kind of unpredictable and doesn't really know what he'll do militarily wise. He's already conducted operations in Syria where past presidents have not done so. Um, and it would not be a surprise if President Trump was to conduct some type of military operation, as like he's done in Syria. So I'm sure Kim Jong Un is probably concerned a little bit about that. I think the sanctions have had a big impact, even considering discussing anything and having discussions with the United States and with South Korea, with the South Korea counterpart. Um, but it's also a situation where, like I said, he's going to do what is more beneficial for him as a leader. Um, he doesn't want a military coup to happen and take his family out of power. So he's going to do whatever he believes is more beneficial to himself. He's going to allow doors to be open that will benefit him. He's going to let things happen and doors be open that are going to give him a more positive outlook to the world and his people. Um, but I don't really see the hostilities toning down. It may quiet down for a little while, but I don't really see the hostilities completely toning down. I see a leader who has promised things in the past and then turned around and did the complete opposite. And I see a leader that, when given the opportunity to better himself, and if that means taking military action, then that's what he'll do. And if it means opening his country to businesses or something else to that effect, then he'll do that. Um, if he's more concerned about what the United States is going to do, or if he's more concerned about what the world is going to do, or how the world's going to react, then he'll make a decision that would appear to be a good gesture or a gesture of good faith. Um, but as soon as he sees that it's not beneficial for him, he's probably going to shut off the same way he's done in the past. Regardless of whatever decision he makes, uh, I guarantee you within these talks, I guarantee you the subject of military troops in South Korea, U.S. military troops in South Korea, are going to come up. I guarantee you the evacuation and exit of those U.S. troops in South Korea are going to be part of the discussion. I guarantee you any type of war games or training exercises with Korea or Japan are going to come up in the discussions, because those have been an area of contention for the Kim regime for several years. And possibly, regime change happening, I don't really see that happening. Um, and a reunification, possibly, but I don't see it happening within the next decade. And when it does happen, um, I'm highly concerned about the economy of South Korea, because I believe that if North and South Korea do indeed unify, I seriously believe that South Korea will have to envelop and endure a lot of the hardships and the debt that North Korea has. And I believe it's going to create an economic situation on the peninsula where, if the U.S. doesn't continue to support them, and countries like Japan and other democratic capitalist governments don't continue to support them, then their economy is probably going to collapse. We also have to concern ourselves with China and Russia getting involved in anything that happens there, because China and Russia have traditionally had a relationship with them, regardless of what the sanctions and the UN has said or what the U.S. government has said. Uh, China has traded with them during the sanctions. Russia has traded with them during the sanctions. As of recently, both of the countries have finally cut off that. It may have been a bargaining chip that wound up getting used to even open the discussions with Kim Jong Un. But I don't believe the hostilities are going to cease. They may get better. The relationship may get smoother. I don't personally believe that the hostilities are going to get better. I don't foresee North Korea becoming a democratic country or even a capitalist country. I see Kim Jong Un and whomever takes over after him um, doing whatever will benefit them, not their country, because they have never been concerned about their people, and they're not going to do anything to concern themselves with their people, them. Um, and it comes from a different, like I said, it comes from my own perspective. It comes from a perspective of somebody that was 28 years in the military and then spent 15 or 16 months in Korea, and has actually been on the DMZ and actually been at the Panmunjom and is actually singing. It's a kind of a culture shock to see that there's nothing more than a few buildings and a line painted on concrete to separate the two warring countries that had been at war since 1953. Um, and to see the actions that occur, you still got in South Korea that they operate as if they are still in a war stance, and it's going to continue to happen until they get somebody in North Korea, whether it be Kim Jong Un or somebody else, that's actually willing to forgo some of the past traditions and do something different. So that's what I think. Yeah, I think your post is good, and I definitely agree with your ideal of continuing support from the U.S. But I think that we need to tread carefully with it.